want you to be able to get this off your chest.
And I'm trying to remember.
Well, tell us what you do remember. Like I said, I'm a dude. I'm the exact same age as you, and I can tell you every freak show I ever was involved in my entire life. Well, I didn't get married until I was almost 30, so I had a lot of fun. So I know, being a man, that if you go to this lady's house and she wants you to do all kind of freaky stuff, that thing's buried in the back of your mind, and you will never forget that. The old spank bank.
This is Linda Slayton. On the morning of September 4th, 1981, the 31-year-old single mother is found dead inside her own bedroom. She has been brutally assaulted in her bed and strangled with a piece of wire. Just down the hall, her two sons, 12-year-old Timothy and 15-year-old Jeff, are sleeping, unaware that their mother has been murdered only feet away. Police launch a homicide case into the real-life horror story, collecting all the forensic material they can from the crime scene and through the autopsy. But there are no clear suspects. As the investigation stalls, the boys are taken in by family and supported by someone close to them, their football coach, 20-year-old Joseph Mills. For nearly 4 decades, the twisted true crime case remains a mystery. Then, in 2018, cutting-edge genetic genealogy is used to match a DNA profile collected from Linda's body, and it gives cold case investigators a shocking lead. Someone who had been close to the family all along, Joseph Mills. So who was Joseph Mills really? A psychopath who brutally murdered a young mother? Or a man hiding a torrid affair with Linda, which could explain the fingerprints and DNA? Despite Joseph denying having been in Linda's home, police aren't convinced. They collect his discarded colostomy bag tape from the trash. The DNA on that tape matches the male DNA profile recovered from Linda's body. And it isn't the only match. Joseph's fingerprints are also found at the crime scene. With the evidence stacking up against him, Joseph is arrested and brought down to the station for a formal police interrogation.
I know you have some questions. Have at it. What's your questions?
What's the warrant?
It's for perjury.
Perjury?
Yes, sir.
Now, obviously, we don't know what happened in the grand jury last week, so it obviously has something to do with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not able to know what you said. We just got that showed up on our warrants list, and we said, hey, we know this guy, so let's go kind of give you the opportunity to be able to kind of not be so embarrassed by getting right in the back of the sheriff's department car, and so here we are.
Okay.
So do you remember the other day that we came out there and we spoke to you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I know you were having a little bit of issues, maybe, remembering because it's 1981, but whenever I kind of read you what the detective said that you said to them, you said that was the truth. Is that right?
If that's what I said then, I mean, yes.
Okay. And you had said, I think I asked you, have you ever been in Linda's apartment?
No.
And you said 100% no, quickly, just like you said then.
Yes.
Right? I want to give you the opportunity to be able to give us the whole truth, okay?
Okay.
Because we know that that's not the truth. So that's the reason why we want to give you this opportunity for you to fill in all the blanks that we have.
Okay.
But we know that that is not the truth. You have been inside of her apartment.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Still no, absolutely not.
Because when I picked the boys up, we stayed in the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't recall of going in or out of a house, period.
Okay. Were you and Linda, was that the only time you ever saw her, was the one time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There was not any time that you had a conversation with her outside of the car?
Just if she come and ask how her son, how he was doing, and basically that was about it. I answered, what she said and or what she had asked, and basically that's about it.
Well,
I don't
basically,
recall getting out of the truck. Then, there was people there. But it's, when you drop them off, there was people there just socializing.
Did you ever get out and socialize with them?
I don't recall. I mean,
Well, we've had this conversation with you, Joe. I mean, you seem like you're a good person, okay? You seem like you're a religious person,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And obviously telling the truth is always a good thing, right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay? We want you to not get caught up and just sticking behind the I don't know, I don't recall. That's basically what it is. We need you to be honest with this, okay? Because what we have tells us a different story, okay? You were in that apartment, okay? So we want to start back there at the beginning. When did you go into the apartment?
I don't remember ever going in the apartment.
Well, we have evidence that you went into the apartment. So you may not remember. It's not going to be good enough for us today.
Okay.
Okay? So I want you to think, okay? And let's come out with the truth, because the truth will always be the best for you to be able to make sure that you tell. For us, for the judge, for anybody, okay? You need to make sure that you tell the truth.
What do you know about fingerprints? You know that everybody's fingerprints are unique. You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
You were arrested in, I believe, '84 by the Lakeland Police Department for
Yes, sir.
grand theft, and they took your fingerprints. We matched your fingerprints to fingerprints in her home. So we know you were in the house, and we know how you got in there. So there's no other plausible explanation as how your fingerprints got in her house, unless you were in there. Would you like to see the fingerprint examination that shows it's your fingerprints? Would that help?
No, sir. If that's what you say, then I have to believe it.
Well, fingerprints are unique to you, so it's not like we got them confused with somebody else. Your fingerprints were taken by the police department in '84 and compared to the fingerprints that we found there at the scene, inside her apartment, okay? They're unique to you. So it's not what we say, it's what the evidence is saying, okay? So explain to me how your fingerprints got inside of her apartment.
I don't know. I do not recall being in her apartment.
Do you recall having sex with her?
No, ma'am.
Do you know how DNA works?
No, ma'am.
I mean, it's specific to you. Your DNA is specific to you.
It's a little bit stronger than fingerprint evidence. DNA is usually 1 billion to 1, which of course is more than how many people are in the world. It's not by happenstance that we ended up on your door on the 4th. We've been working on this for many, many years. We got some breaks in it. I don't know what you know about the new modern technology. Do you know anything about the Golden Gate Killer, how they got him?
No, sir.
By DNA.
By DNA. They didn't have his DNA on file, and that's why this has been unsolved for so many years. But what they do now is they take the DNA from the crime scene, they check it, cross-check it amongst the open files that you can search, and they build a family tree, and that's what we did. And the DNA that was in her comes back to Joseph Mills. And we confirmed it by pulling your trash and getting your tape from your colostomy bag, and it was a 100% match. So we know what's going on. It's just up to you. Do you want to tell us the whole story, or do you want to continue down this road? I don't know nothing. I've never been in her house. We got fingerprints at the point of entry. We got fingerprints in the house. We got your DNA in her vagina. So the ball's in your court.
We don't think you're a bad person.
Obviously,
Okay.
you haven't gotten in trouble since '84. That's
Exactly.
a pretty clean record. You obviously, something went south that particular night, and we would like to know what happened. It's been 38 years, and I'm sure you go to bed every night thinking about this. I have no doubt in my mind.
I,
And if you're sitting there and you're thinking we're lying to you, we can show you the paperwork that we're not bullshitting you, that we're giving you 100% what we
no,
have.
sir. I never said that word.
I know that. I just, some people think we play these tricks. Her and I don't go roll like that. We have the paperwork right here. We'll be more than happy to let you look at it if you want, to show that we're not BSing you. We're telling you 100% the truth.
And we can tell that you're thinking, you know. We can tell that you know what happened, okay? You just have to let us know, okay? You need to get that off your heart and get that off your mind to be able to continue on with your life, okay? But you have to fill in those blanks for us. What's your hesitation?
I don't understand. I mean,
What do you not understand?
if you say you got that, then there's nothing else for me to say, because I do not remember.
Were you on drugs back then?
No, sir.
Were you a heavy drinker back then?
Yes, sir.
Did you drink at football practice?
No.
What shift did you work at the Publix warehouse?
I believe we went in at 4:30, 5 o'clock.
In the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could you have been drinking before you went on your shift?
Possible. Because yeah.
All right. Like I said, we don't think you're a bad person, okay? We think that something went wrong in there, and that's what we need you to answer for us. How did it get to this bad of a situation, okay? We've already established you were in there, okay?
100% without a doubt.
Right. This matches you. Your fingerprints matches you. The DNA matches you. You just need to fill in the blanks. And I think that getting it off your chest will help you in so many ways, you know, whether it's with your health, with your being able to go to heaven with a clean conscience, okay? I'm sure you want that. I'm sure you want your family to know that you went to heaven and you were able to get into heaven with a clean conscience because you got all this off of your chest. And Timmy, the guy that you coached in football, he deserves that.
I don't. If all odds are against me, because, like you said, you BSing. I know you're not BSing.
Like I said, we have the files right here. We'll be more than willing to show them to you, so you know we're not BSing you. If you want them, just say so and we'll show them to you. There's that red folder right there.
But I do not recall having a relationship with her.
Did she ever flirt with you?
There was just one time that I talked to her outside, and it wasn't.
Joe, we have your fingerprints going through the window, entering her bedroom. They're on the inside where you grab a hold and you step through the window. That's where your fingerprints are. Some of them. There's others there, but the main ones shows that you grabbed it around the window frame and went through the window and entered her bedroom. Do you not remember that? Crawling through the lady's bedroom in the middle of the night?
I think you remember it, and you just don't want to say it. We're not going to think anything different of you, okay?
Well,
We're not hitting you, okay? I can see in your eyes that there's stuff that you want to be able to tell us, okay? But you have to be able to trust us to tell us that. So we want you to be able to feel comfortable to do that.
We haven't mistreated you. We've been respectful for the whole time, and nothing of that's going to change. We just believe that this family needs closure. You need closure.
Right.
Obviously, your health's not doing that great.
no, sir.
So, time's now to repent, man, and tell us what happened. So we have the full picture of what happened, and you can face the Lord. We've all made mistakes in our life. Obviously, this is a big one.
You can overcome this,
But
okay?
yeah, it's not
But
the
you
end of
need
the
to be
road.
able to tell the truth to set yourself free and be able to overcome this. Like I said, we know that you think about this when you close your eyes at night, okay? Maybe throughout the day you probably don't, you keep yourself busy. But I guarantee every time that you get diagnosed with some kind of sickness, you think about this, okay? Maybe that's the reason why I'm having all these health issues, because I'm keeping this inside. And we want you to be able to have some kind of a good life. Just like that family is owed that good life too. They need that closure.
Tell us what happened, Joe. Even if you were in a drunken stupor, you'd still have some recollection of what happened. You surely can't go to work and function if you were that intoxicated and did something crazy.
Tell me what happened. Those kids right there deserve that. Tell me what happened. those boys had to grow up without a mom. So I know you know what the right thing is to do.
I don't recall, but like you said, did she come off flirting?
That's normal when you're 19, 20 years old. A pretty girl flirting with you. So how did it get to the point that you snuck in her window?
I promise you, Joe, you get this off your chest, you will feel much better about yourself. I promise you that.
Tell us what you're thinking.
I'm going back in time and like I said, a flirtation,
Mm-hmm.
drinking.
Mm-hmm.
What was your drink of choice back then? Was it liquor, beer,
Both.
both together?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What do you think your condition was the night of this? Do you remember?
Obviously, it wasn't very good.
So obviously the alcohol has you do something that you normally wouldn't do.
No, sir.
So walk us down that road. Let us know how that process worked. Was it normal for you to drink before you went into work?
No, sir.
What made that night special?
Or not? What made you have to drink that night was, did you have a fight with your wife at the time? Or?
No, sir. That's Nanny and I, named Carol.
It's okay, right, Nanny?
We had a good relationship. I mean, my son was born, and the guys, there were some guys I got together with, and the talking that was done that afternoon, I guess this one thing led up to another.
What guys are we talking about?
Fellow workmates.
People that you worked with knew her?
No.
Or you guys were just shooting the breeze, just like guys do, fellow employees? And I guess drinking?
Yes, sir.
And then how did you end up going through her window?
It was like an invitation.
So when she was talking, there was an invitation?
Yeah.
What did she say to you?
Just more or less, just like have a good time.
She was down for a good time? Is that what she said?
Not them words, but I mean the actions, but I guess young and dumb and alcohol.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get to the point to go through the window?
That's
Did she tell you to go through the window, or did she tell you to come to the front door, or how did that transpire?
I walked up there and there was like others come on in.
Do you remember what time that was?
I mean,
Was it before your shift, I guess, at Publix?
yes.
Okay. So you think that you went through the front door, is that what you're saying?
No.
So through the window?
So she was in her bedroom when you approached the window and she told you to come in?
Yes.
Okay. Then what happened? How did it go south so quick?
So I don't,
All right, let's back up a little bit. Where did the sex take place?
in the bedroom.
But I mean, did you hold her on top of you, or did you lay her on the bed or whatever?
No,
Did you remove her clothing, or how did all that work?
So to be honest, I don't remember. That's
So you're saying you had sex with her, which we already know that. What happened after that?
as far as I know, I left.
Come on, Joe.
What,
We
what-
both know that this is not the end of it. You didn't just leave out the window. And nothing else.
Did she ridicule you, or I mean, what made it go south? Something had to happen to cause you to snap and for it to go south like it. Do you agree with that? I mean, obviously we haven't had a lot of contact with you, but I could tell you're not a violent man, and you're not. You don't seem to have a temper or anything like that. But something had to happen, and of course we're much different from 19 to 20 to 58. You know, so there could be changes in there. Did you have a short fuse back then? Did she say something that make you snap, or what happened to make it go so south so bad real quick?
Tell us what you're thinking.
I wish I knew myself.
So you're saying that the sex and everything's a fault, but you remember her inviting you through the window.
Excuse me?
You said you remembered her flagging you in through the window. But you don't remember too much after that. I mean, we're talking a few minutes here, so obviously that doesn't make a lot of sense. If you remembered her inviting you into the window, then I'm sure you know how the sex went down and what else went down and why. We would like for you to inform us of that. Let us know how it went from that south like that so quick. Obviously something happened, because I don't think just going to snap and do something foolish like that without something enraging you or something. Something had to happen that's very negative. What we would like to know is what that was. First of all, let's just go back to your 19, 20-year-old. Did you have a temper back then?
No, sir. I don't.
You were just as smooth
Not.
and calm as you are now, or just, but you were like a typical 19, 20-year-old.
Yes, sir.
Nothing outrageous.
No.
What happened here that made this go so south so quick? Something had to have happened, Joe. I mean, I think that's just common sense.
We know you know the answers.
No, alcohol.
Okay, alcohol. But you have to fill us in on what happened inside that bedroom, okay? What got to that point where Linda lost her life? Was she threatening to tell your wife?
There's tons of scenarios that could have caused that to go south like that, but we would like you to fill in that blank for us so we have an understanding of what went so south that it had to end the way it ended. And obviously you felt guilty about it because you continued to pick up her son from the grandparents for football.
Some of the grandparents?
And that's what he told us. Said that they left that apartment, went to the grandparents, and you continued to pick him up, take him to and from football from the grandparents' house. And that's obviously not somebody, I would assume that that would be a little bit of guilt, or at least from my perspective. So what happened in that? Did the sex not satisfy her, or was there something wrong that she ridiculed you about, or what happened, Joe? What made you snap besides alcohol? I'm sure alcohol had a lot to do with it, but there was something that had to trigger that alcohol to get you to do that, what you did to her. So what was it? What caused it to go from sex to ending her life? And I'm not saying you meant to end her life. It could have been an accident. Fill in for us. Let us know what happened so we kind of have an idea what's going on here. Was it kinky sex that went south, or what? What happened?
I would say yes.
Yes, what?
Things.
Things what?
Things that I haven't done before.
Like, give us some examples.
What did she want you to do?
Ma'am?
What did she want you to do? You can tell us. We're not going to judge you.
Trust me, I've been doing this 34 years, and she's at 20-something years, and there's not anything you can tell us that's going to shock us or make us go, oh my God, I promise you that.
No, sir, but my age, now, and
I mean, that's,
alcohol and then wanting to be roughhousing.
So she wanted you to do some rough stuff?
I've never been that way.
Right.
you're 19, 20, what were you, 20 or 19?
20.
It's 20? So, I mean, if you're like me, I don't know what your experience was in high school and all that, but I know that I didn't know nothing about nothing at 20. So it takes time to learn things, and people have to teach you and stuff like that. Tell us what that, she's 30, and everything I've read, that 30 is when the women hit their peak. So obviously there's a lot of dynamics going here, but we need you to fill us in on some of this stuff. What's going on? What's happening? Because I'm sure she was blowing your mind, right?
Yeah.
Well, tell us some of the stuff she was wanting you to do.
Tie her up for one.
Tie her up. Did you tie her up?
I don't.
What did she want you to tie her up with?
Tell us what you're thinking.
First of all, did you tie her up? Or did it just freak you out?
Mind blown.
Freaked you out?
But did you tie her up?
I think so.
Do you remember where you tied her up or how you tied her up? Face down, face up? Let me ask you this, have you had any other experiences in your life like that?
No, sir.
So, I mean, this should stand out like a Super Bowl or something, right? Because even if your mind's blown, or if you're doing or not doing, that's something that I would assume most men would not forget. So, I know it's embarrassing. We're not here to judge you. We're just here to try to put this thing together, okay? So we need you to tell us the process, what happened, all the way through it, from the time you crawled in the window to the time you left. And did you tell any of your friends about this experience?
No.
No? So here's your opportunity to tell us what happened.
Because the alcohol.
So what happened once you got in that room? What was the next thing? Did you disrobe her? Did she disrobe you? How'd that go? Put a lot of different demands on you, what she wanted, or, I mean, how did all that process go? Let us know, Joe.
Tell us what you're thinking. We want you to be able to get this off your chest.
And I'm trying to remember.
Well, tell us what you do remember. Like I said, I'm a dude. I'm the exact same age as you, and I can tell you every freak show I ever was involved in my entire life. You know, I'm not saying anything negative, but I didn't get married right out of high school. I didn't get married until I was almost 30, so I had a lot of fun. I used to bounce and had a lot of fun. I could sit here and tell you some stories, and I was drunk plenty of times, I promise you. So I know, being a man, that if you go to this lady's house and she wants you to do all kind of freaky stuff, that thing's buried in the back of your mind and you will never forget that. The old stank bank, I'm sure that pops up every time when you want to masturbate. Because, I mean, that's not something that happens to normal people, the freak show aspect of it all, but that's life, you know, and that's an experience. I guarantee you, there's no ambiguity or nothing like that, and you know what happened. It's in your mind. You know exactly what happened and what went down. Because I'm a man, I know. And like I said, I promise you, you didn't do no more drinking than I did back then.
So you went in that window. Tell us what happened after that. It's the same window.
She was standing here.
Okay. How'd you know to go to that window?
She told me.
What'd you do with the screen?
There wasn't one.
There wasn't no screen there? And the window was locked down, or did she unlock it for you, or what? How'd that
The
process?
window was open.
Window was open, no screen? And was she in there waiting on you, or did you just walk up and then she flagged you in? How did all that go down?
It was almost like hey, come on, if we're gonna do this, come on in.
Okay. So you went in the window. Right?
And then
And then?
Once you got in there, then what happened? How did you get after it? Did you guys start making out, foreplay? What happened? What happened once you got in, Joe?
that's when she was wanting me to do things that I'd never been across.
Well, tell us what you wanted you to do. Start with the first ask and just go from there, how it proceeded through the whole process. So we can have a clear picture of what happened. What was the first thing she asked? What'd she ask you first, Joe? Come on, Joe, listen to me, man. I'm the exact same age as you. I was born a month after you, October. Or you were in January, so I was a few months after you. But I'm telling you, dude, I'm a dude the same age as you, did the same stuff you did, and I can tell you if you were asking me these questions, I could tell you back in the 80s, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, I got married. So I'm telling you, I know you know what happened, drunk or not drunk. Because first of all, let's be honest, if you're face, that face, you wouldn't even get erect.
So what did she ask you to do?
I remember she said, you believe in tying or violent or not like.
So what did you say to her?
I've never done this before.
But being a 20-year-old man, you probably said, I'm game though, right? Isn't that right? I know I would have.
Yeah.
So what did she want you to tie her up with? What did you tie her up with?
She had a piece of wire.
Okay. Where did she want that wire tied on?
Around her throat.
Okay. And did she keep wanting it tighter?
Well, let's go back a step or two. Did you put that wire around her neck? Or did she do it? How did it get around her neck?
She already had it up here. And that's when she wanted to know, did I ever do this kind of violent sex?
Mm-hmm.
So she had it partially. She was laying down and had it around her neck, but it wasn't put together or anything, correct?
Right.
And then did you put it together and start applying pressure?
Yes.
Okay. Did you
How
have
did
sex?
you? I'm sorry, go ahead, Tammy.
Did you have sex with her at the same time?
I do believe that was going on, yes.
Okay. Did she seem obviously to enjoy it? Did she enjoy it? At what point in time did it get to the point where she died?
I didn't know she died.
Was she, when you were having sex with her with this wire around her neck, was she asking you to tighten it as you were going, or how did that process go?
She...
What kind of wire was it?
I don't remember. It's
Nope.
stiff wire. But stiff wire.
Mm-hmm.
Where did the wire come from?
I don't know.
She like had it already there prepared. Is there any context you remember the wire? I mean, what it could possibly be? Was it stiff, flexible?
It... Stiff?
Stiff. What, is there anything that comes to mind on what kind of wire that was to you?
I would say a coat hanger.
Coat hanger. Was the hook on it or off of it? So as you're having sex with her and this wire's around her neck, I'm assuming she's telling you to tighten it? Or did you just tighten it?
Once or twice.
Did she ever lose consciousness while you were having sex with her?
Yes.
Did she ever come back?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you guys have a safe word or anything going into this?
A what?
A safe word. Usually when you do stuff like that, you get a word that if they say that word, you know to cut it off.
I ain't never done that like
I understand that, but if she had, she would surely would have gave you a safe word.
So after you had sex with her, what did you do?
I left.
Okay. And how did you leave?
Back out through the window.
But when you left, you don't remember if she was conscious or not. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But she lost consciousness and didn't come to, right?
I don't know.
But I mean, when you were there, when she lost consciousness, she didn't come back to, because you just said that, right?
She was just, what do you mean unconscious?
Asleep.
Yeah.
So at some time she passed out during this process, and to your knowledge never came back to while you were there.
Correct.
Did her skin color change or anything to indicate there was a problem?
No.
When you left, was it in a panic or it was just over, time to go? Because obviously that's a lot for a 20-year-old to handle.
Did you ask you to do anything else to her? Just the choker?
Just wild. I don't even remember how you did it, but it would be things I ain't never done before.
Besides the choking?
I ain't never done that.
What about anything else that she asked you to do?
Did she ask you to insert anything other than your penis in her vagina?
Did you? You know, you can't remember, or you don't know?
I don't remember.
Back to my other question, did you, when you left, was it the sex is over, she's passed out, I'm out of here, or did you think, oh, done mess around on my wife, panic and get the hell out of Dodge? How'd that process go?
Probably all the above.
Did you ever confess to your wife that you had an extramarital affair?
No.
Was this the only extramarital affair you had?
Yes.
Have you, when they were questioning you about this at any point, if it was an accident, why would you not just tell everyone what happened?
Scared.
How did
And
you,
she was, as far as I know, just unconscious.
how did you find out she had died?
When the detective.
Police contacted you? Okay. And at any point did you decide to tell them what had originally happened? And it was just basically because you were scared? At any point after you talked to the detectives, why did you not come forward and say, hey, this is what really happened?
I didn't. What's the ungodly thing to do?
So other than the kinky sex aspect of it, she never said nothing to piss you off or cause you to snap and tighten this thing down on her because she made you angry. How tight do you think that was around her neck?
I don't remember.
But obviously, if it was real tight, you would see it digging into the sides of her neck and stuff, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Do you recall how tight it looked when you were tightening it down? And how did you tighten it down? Were you using your fingers?
Yeah.
You said that she asked you to tighten it down a couple times. Did she ask anything else?
Just to do wild things. Wild. We may be same age, but I ain't relationship with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were strict.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't start dating until 17.
Did you mind telling us?
Asking to do something like this is...
Oh yeah, way out of your ball field or comfort zone. You never did you ever tie her up?
No.
So it just was the hanger around the neck and that was it? And you never inserted anything other than your penis inside of her vagina?
Not remember, no.
Did you freak out because you ejaculated in her? I mean, that's got to be pretty freaky, especially since you just had a kid and you're married. So did you freak out?
Oh, the whole ordeal, yeah.
And did anything happen after you ejaculated in her?
Did you guys have that conversation about safe sex beforehand? Was she fixed or obviously you didn't have a rubber? That never came up?
Did you freak out whenever you ejaculated in her? Because this did not cause murder.
Laceration from some foreign object.
So that's what I need you to answer. Did you freak out when you ejaculated inside of her? Or did she ask you to do that to her? This doesn't just happen. So tell me how this happened.
That's what I'm trying to remember.
Did you have any tools that you carried to work with you that might have had on you that you inserted in her?
I don't remember none of this.
You've been good about telling us the truth so far, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the last piece of the puzzle that we need to be able to figure out. So whether this was something that she asked, or this was you freaking out because you didn't use a condom, and you was inside of her, and you probably thought about your kid, and you probably thought about your wife. That's what I need you to answer.
Something foreign was inserted. We didn't know what you did that. Because that damage don't come
That's
any
not
other
from the
way.
penis.
I mean,
How did you get over there? Remember what you were driving?
my Ford.
The Bronco?
Yes.
And where'd you park?
Right there at the apartment.
At the apartment, not down the road and come around the back of the building or anything?
So you parked right in front of her duplex?
No, it was like one down.
Mm-hmm. So, what else have you not told us that happened that day? Was there any other freaky stuff she wanted you to do?
She asked you to insert any foreign object?
I do not remember.
Does that look like the metal that you're talking about?
Yes.
Was it in that same condition that it is right there?
What do you mean same condition?
Like it's got some coloring, and that's, you'd said that she asked you to twist it down a couple times. But it was unraveled at this point.
You see those marks underneath the hair on her neck?
There.
Yes, sir.
What do you think caused those marks?
I don't know.
She wasn't pulling at the hanger while you were tightening it down? Because those are claw marks from her trying to get the hanger off her neck. Well, obviously that would have happened before she passed out.
Was she moving around a lot when you were doing this?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember where in her bedroom? Was it up against the wall? Was it on a bed? Was it?
She was. She was already laying down.
Okay. Like that? And that's where it all happened, right there? Is that yes? Are you saying yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that what she had on whenever you said she kind of wanted you to come through the window? How did her breast get exposed?
I guess I did it.
You guess you did it? I mean, I would assume if you're going to have sex, you want, that's one of the favorite parts is to expose that, right?
Who took her panties off, her or you?
There was already. She didn't have really nothing on.
Did you have a weapon? Knife or a gun or anything like that? No? Were you ever in the closet?
No, sir.
All right, we're going to take a break. I'm going to get your Gatorade, because I'm sure you probably want something to drink, and then we'll come back in, okay? I'm going to grab a cup. All right, I got red, orange, there a specific time?
No, no.
All right, we appreciate what you told us so far, okay? But there's still a lot of shit in that story, okay? So, as much as you want to sit there and say that you're not sure what happened, we know that this is a traumatic thing that happened in your life, okay? Not only your life, but that family's life, and you remember what specifically happened. So the story about she just happened to be at the window and you were there, you got to fill in some blanks on that.
No, it was the invitation.
Okay, when was the invitation?
The afternoon that I dropped the players off.
Okay, so how did that invitation go? She didn't have a telephone.
No, it was verbal. It was verbal. It was why she had come up to the truck.
Okay, and how did she know what time to invite you over?
What do you mean, what time?
How did you know what time to be there? How did she know what time to be there at the window? You're telling me that she was there at the window waiting, inviting you in, and that's how you knew to go to that window. That's what you said earlier.
It was if you'd come back over at, I don't remember the time. We'll show you a good time or have a good time.
How did she know to tell you what time? Was it after midnight? Was it before midnight? Did she know your schedule at Publix? Then how would she know what time to tell you to come over?
And obviously that's not the only window in the house, so how would you know to go to that window?
On that part there, she said she would be in her bedroom.
Yes, but if you said that you've never been inside this apartment until that day, you're telling me that that is the one window that you went to? There is the same window on the front of the house, okay? There's the same window on the back of the house. How did you know to go to that window?
Because where the apartment was at, I was the one down from it. She said, come to my bedroom at this particular place.
Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not making sense, okay? You keep saying, yes, she told me to come to that window, all right? But I am asking you, how did you know that that was her bedroom window? How did you not think that her bedroom was the front of the house or on the other side of the house?
She told me where her bedroom was going to be.
She said, it's on what side of the house?
She would have been on, she said my bedroom's in the left rear, right rear.
Okay, so you just happened to go there, and you can't remember the time that she told you to go there, even though she doesn't know what your work schedule is or when you can get away from your wife. Did she know you were married?
I believe I said it was.
Okay, so she has no clue, since again, this is the first time you say you've met her. She comes out to your truck, starts flirting with you, and then it becomes to a conversation of basically an open invitation to come over to my house and have sex with you and have a good time. Is that right? So again, how did she know what your schedule was going to be? How did she know what time?
She didn't, there wasn't no date, time set. Best I recall.
She's a single mother. What do you mean that there was no time? There had to have been a time. I mean, she wasn't going to let you in the house with her kid in the room, was she?
No, ma'am.
So that's where I'm trying to figure out, because you don't just pop up on somebody's window and be like, oh, this was arranged and she was waiting there for me. How would she know? If she was just standing there all night long in her bedroom waiting for you.
Was she a prostitute? Did you have to pay her?
No.
No.
What I think happened is you saw the opportunity, you knew where she lived, and you went over there and you snuck in her room. And you waited for her to do this. Whether it was that she was coming on to you and she was making you feel good or whatever it was, but you went in there, you went over there with a purpose to do this. This wasn't just, I made this arrangement to be able to meet her at this time and she was there waiting for me. People don't just wait with hangers laying around their neck.
And obviously you said she wasn't wearing her panties, but her panties were taken off her right where she's sitting. Somebody had to remove her panties. They weren't just at her feet for no reason. So what we're getting at, Joe, is obviously you're telling us a little bit of the truth, but not the whole truth.
I don't, this,
Just tell us the truth, the whole truth from the beginning.
This
Let
happened.
the cards fall where they may.
Like I said,
I don't remember things going escalating that far. That's,
again, that didn't happen from your penis. That happened from somebody inserting something up there and cutting her. And again, whether it was that you freaked the fuck out about you being inside of her, and maybe that's the reason why, how you freaked out, that's how you were trying to take care of the situation, or maybe she wanted you to insert something up there. You need to tell us the truth. This doesn't just happen.
and that's what I'm saying. I don't remember things escalating that far.
Yeah, but you said you don't think things escalated that far, that you left her unconscious either. She wasn't moving when you left. Do you think she was sleeping?
No.
With a wire hanger around her neck? So you knew she was unconscious?
Pass out?
Passed out and unconscious is the same thing.
But obviously she's pulling at her neck, so that could tell anybody with any common sense that the thing's too tight. So, and that would of course happen before she passed out, and you said she passed out and you left. So you had to see her pulling at her neck. We need to know what happened, Joe, the truth, not the partial truth, not, I don't remember the whole horse shit. We need you to tell us what happened, man. The truth, exact truth, how this thing went down, what happened to cause you to kill her. You purposely killed her. We all sitting here, we know that.
Because you've lived your life for 38 years, gone on about your business, raising your kids, and these boys have not had their mother. What if your wife was in the if you were in the same situation and your wife was killed, and your kids didn't have their parent? How would that make you feel?
I think you're smart enough to know what you're feeding us is horse.
No,
You're giving us little bits of things, but you're not telling us what happened. Something caused you to snap to do that right there. And that's not playing no sexual games or any of that, because if it was a choking thing, you could easily done that with your hand, not a wire.
And she was bleeding with that around her neck. So you saw this, and you did not know that she was dead. And you left her there. And you went about your business for 38 years. And you've kept this secret, even through your son swearing in. And you have decided to never tell anybody of authority about what happened.
What happened, Joe, to cause you to kill her? Just tell us that. What went so bad that you decided to kill her?
I did not know that I did.
Look at that hanger. Does that look like a game to you?
If she wanted to be tied up, there's nobody in their right mind that would use a wire hanger. They'd use some stocking, they'd use a scarf. A wire hanger, that was not her idea. Tell us how it got that far. And tell us the truth.
That right there, Joe, is anger. That's not kinky sex. That is anger. Something happened that caused this whole situation to go south and for you to consciously kill her. And you can sit here and blow smoke up our butt and tell us, no, it was just a game and all that, but you know better, we know better, and anybody that listens to this will know better. And that's no, in the history of sex, I have never known anybody to have kinky sex with a hanger twisted around their neck.
And the thing is, Joe, we don't think you're a bad guy. We've said that from the beginning. You are not a bad guy. Did she go sideways there? Absolutely. You've got to fill us in to be able to figure out why it went that way. Why were you so angry?
We want to know why you killed her. What caused it to go to that far? Something had to have happened, Joe.
I know you're replaying this over in your mind. The truth will set you free. So you need to tell us the truth, the whole truth.
Think about this, Joe. You're sitting in a trial. You testify and you tell the jurors that this was a kinky sex game that went bad. Do you think anybody on any juror is going to believe that is a kinky sex thing that went bad? When you have obvious signs of her clawing at her throat, trying to get it off her throat. And you can see by the pictures, that's cramped down on that neck extremely tight. Anybody that does kinky games, they don't want you choking them unconscious. They want you choking them almost to that point, but not quite that point. And that's obviously, looking at that right there, that's a purposely done act to cut somebody's ear off. And think about what you said. She asked me to tighten it. I continued to tighten it. She passed out, and I left. Obviously, she didn't pass out and start clawing at her neck. She was clawing at her neck while you were still there. So that don't hold no water in itself.
We get it. You were drinking. You know, things went bad when you were drinking. You went over there. You saw an opportunity. But how did it get that bad? How did you switch to such anger when you were there just to have a good time?
There's only a few scenarios. She was ridiculing you about the sex. She said she was going to tell your wife. She said she was going to tell the police. Something had to happen for you to do that to her. We would like to know what that was.
We need you to talk to us, Joe.
And that's one thing. This and this.
Well, let's say you blacked out, and maybe that's what happened.
But you've already admitted to tightening the thing on her neck.
Yeah. But
There's
she
no
was-
question how that got around her neck and how it got tightened to kill her.
It
The
wasn't
question is-
intention of killing
It had to be. Joe, look at that thing.
That thing
Do you
is
think
very
that's a
tight.
kinky sex game? Look how tight that thing is on her neck.
And again, I know you said that you're not experienced in the freaky stuff, but
She's
nothing I have ever seen, probably either one of us have ever seen, using a wire hanger. Why would you do something that you couldn't get free of? That's not the whole point of kinky sex. This was not kinky sex. This was anger.
She'd be turning red and possibly blue to the face. And trust me, there's been plenty of cases where people have accidentally choked themselves with kinky sex, but I guarantee you won't find another one where it happened with a coat hanger.
So did you get that coat hanger out of her closet?
Remember, she had the hanger.
And you're telling me that she was just waiting there, lying on the bed with a hanger on the back of her neck, knowing the time that you were going to be there, to be able to have you sneak in the window and have kinky sex with her?
And let's face it, she had a boyfriend at the time and they didn't have any kinky sex. If she was into kinky sex, her boyfriend would have known about it, don't you think? Tell us why you did that to her, Joe. What happened to cause you to kill her? Think about it, Joe. This is going before a jury. Do you think a jury's going to believe all that horse you told us?
Sir, I'm telling you, she wasn't like this when I left. This hanger mine, but all these scars and this right here.
That's a tough sell. You've already admitted to put the hanger around her neck and tighten it down, did you not?
Yes.
And that's how she died.
And you even said that she passed out.
And you left and
And
she
you
had
left.
never regained consciousness.
That I don't know.
Well, you said
Well, we
earlier,
can tell you that she did.
and you said when you left she was still passed out.
Yes, sir.
So, that's how she was found. Why did you do that to her, Joe? What happened that caused you to snap like that? That's anger. Something happened where she ticked you off. What was that? Let me ask you this. You said earlier that you grew up in a strict home and didn't do nothing, didn't start dating until you were, what, 17, I think you said? Did this have anything to do with your upbringing? You pissed off at your mom? Took it out on her?
Me and my mom had excellent relationships.
Okay. I ask that question because there are extremes like that where that does happen. But something pissed you off, Joe. It's very obvious that something pissed you off. What pissed you off, Joe? Tell us what pissed you off, Joe.
I don't know. Because my dad was violent with my mother.
Do you think that had something to do with it? Have you been violent with Carol?
No, sir.
Okay. Was this an escape and you were violent with her instead of being violent with your wife that you love?
No.
What pissed you off and made you do this to this lady? What happened? What came up? What caused that anger? Were you a violent drunk?
I know you want to get it off your chest. I think
I was right here saying I was violent.
You agree then, right? Do you look at that and realize the violence it takes for that right there?
But what made me snap?
I don't know. I wasn't there, Joe.
that's what we want you to tell us.
Nobody will know unless you tell us. She either did something, said something, pissed you off, or something else went sideways and pissed you off, and that's anger, my friend. I think you just said that. You agree with that.
Only because of the question that you asked me. Was I a violent drunk?
Well,
Were
some
you?
people are.
Were you a
Some people
violent
are.
drunk? You would know, right?
I wouldn't. That says different no matter what. That's
Well, explain
even
it
if
to
you're
us.
not, if you're an alcoholic, you're not going to say you're an alcoholic until things pop up in your face.
What caused that, Joe?
I don't know.
Would you agree that that's angry?
Yes.
And would you agree that there either was something that she did or she said or something that was in you, whether it was the alcohol, that made you snap to that point? So this doesn't have to define you. Being able to tell the complete truth of what happened, that's what you should be defined as. Being able to overcome this. And again, we don't think you're a bad guy. We don't judge, okay? But I'm going to tell you, there is one judge, all right? And you're a religious man, and you know what the right thing is to do. It's to be able to give closure for these kids, to be able to give closure for you and for your family. And that's why we need to know what happened, the complete truth.
You had one bad night, Joe. That doesn't define you, my friend. You had one bad night, but we need to know what happened. The truth. Not the partial truth, not the little...
That's what I'm saying.
What you're doing is a classic minimizing. It happens all the time with these types of crimes, or most crimes. People will come in, they'll give you a little bit and try to twist it and make it seem like it was something it wasn't. But those pictures and that crime scene tells a totally different story. And you've obviously, now that you've seen the pictures, you realize that something went sideways. And the only people that know that is her and you. And obviously she can't tell us. You've already admitted to doing it. We just need to know why. Simple question, Joe. Why did it get to that point right there? What happened?
I don't know. So much happened that night. All this right here, this right here it didn't happen. But that thing did.
The evidence is there. And I'll give you a little more tidbit. We know that you did all that damage to her. And how we know that is the skin inside of her still had the tails. When a woman stands up or moves after having sex, the tails break off the skin. So it's obviously scientifically proven that the person that did this to her had sex with her. And we've already proven who had sex with her.
You were the last person to see her alive.
Which means you're responsible for all of that. And that's a lot of violence. But what happened? What caused that violence, Joe? You know what happened. I guarantee you, if this has been in your mind for 38 years and you haven't had a good night's sleep, you've lied in bed many nights thinking about this and what went so bad that night and how to get there. I know you did. That's just common. Any person that would do that would like that, other than a serial killer. You're obviously not a serial killer. Something went south here. We want you to tell us what happened. Why did it get to that point? She's a little tiny petite girl. She couldn't do nothing to you. She was so small you could have slapped her around and threw her around like a rag doll, right? What happened, Joe? Why did it go this south, this sideways so bad? You've done well up to this point telling us what happened on that. Now we just need you to close the deal and tell us the truth so we can all go about our business. You can put this in your review. We can put it in our review mirror, and it's over. It's done. There's no way of getting around it. I think you realize that, right?
I do not know.
Is it just something you're ashamed to speak out about? Because I get it. Obviously, this is not you. Like I said, this doesn't have to define you. Because obviously, other than the 84 incident, you've run a very clean life. So something went sideways here, and you know what that is. We would like for you to tell us. And this is over. You move on, we move on, and that's it. We just need that last piece of information. Why this happened. What caused this. So much violence.
The invitation was taken. Wild and crazy things. But for me, for this,
Did you use the hanger to get compliance?
what do you mean?
I don't think she invited you. I think you just maybe were drinking or whatever and got this wild notion up your butt that you're going to go try to get some tang off of her. You snuck in her house. When she came to bed, you jumped her, put the hanger around her neck, and used that for compliance. Because that's not consensual. Now, if you're embarrassed about that, I get it, man. I get it. But the truth is the only thing that's going to set you free, not this horse that you've been telling us, giving us a little bit here, a little bit there. None of it makes any sense. And if you sit down and think about it, you'll realize it doesn't make any sense.
The invitation was there. The invite was there. And yes, that particular, that night, we went out drinking.
Okay. So you decided to take her up on that invitation?
Yes.
How do you even know she'd be in her bedroom?
She had told me where she stayed.
Well, it's obvious you knew where she stayed. You had the addresses to the football players and all that.
But you didn't answer. How did you know she's going to be in her bedroom?
And why wouldn't you just went and knocked on the front door? Does that make sense to you, Joe? You get an invitation and you don't go walk through the front door, you go creep around the house and try to find the right room and crawl through the window? It's a school night, the kids are in bed, they're going to be in their rooms, they're not going to see you coming in through the front door. Tell us the truth, Joe. What happened?
Did you sneak in and wait for her?
No, ma'am.
Did you look through the window?
When I was at the window, she was already walking to me
She was walking to you.
through the bedroom.
How did she know that you were going to be there?
Just an invitation, whether it was that night, next day, or whatever.
How did you know she was going to be walking to her bedroom?
I didn't.
You just came upon that window.
What time was it that you went to the window? Do you remember?
No, sir. Said I had met some other guys and we went out, had some drinks.
Did you end up going to work that morning?
Yes.
So you were obviously sober enough to go to work at 5:30.
I didn't hear what you said. No, what?
Yeah, I wasn't sober by no means.
Who were the guys that you were hanging out with?
Pop Wyndham.
Pop Wyndham? Okay. Who else?
Let's see. Jenkins.
Is that a last name?
Yes.
What's the first name?
Robert.
Excuse me. Who else?
I want to say Barber.
Barbara?
Barber.
Barbara? What's Barbara's first name?
Steve.
And did they know what you were going to do?
No.
Did they know what you did?
No.
So after you did this, you went to work, not sober, and went on about your business.
Where were you guys drinking at? Were you at a bar?
Yes.
What was the name of the bar?
It's on Main Street right there.
Is it still a bar or not?
I don't think so, no.
What, did you guys close the place?
I wouldn't say it would close at night.
Do you have any idea what time you left?
I would say 11ish.
PM?
Yes, sir.
And did you go straight to her apartment from there?
Yes, sir.
Did you wait outside for any length of time before you went around to the window?
No.
So you drove straight from Main Street to there, so what, 15, 20 minutes?
I'd say yes.
And so that will put you there roughly at 11:30 p.m. And that's when you met her at the window?
Yes. But
What ticked you off, Bill? What made you snap and do that, so much violence? Just tell us, man.
I don't. This is not me. This.
Well, it could have been the alcohol. We get that. But you said that you were there.
Yeah.
And you said that you put that hanger around her neck.
Yeah.
And you said that you twisted down.
She was.
You said
Wow.
that she passed out.
Yes.
You had sex with her. You said you had sex with her. And you ejaculated in there. And you didn't use a condom. And then you left. You kept saying the whole time that so much happened that night, but you're not telling us what happened.
That's a lot that happened.
I understand that that's a lot that happened, but you're telling me, you're just saying that that's kinky sex. And you're saying that she wanted you to do so much, but that's only one thing that you're admitting to. So tell us what else is so much stuff went on. What was the so much other things that she wanted you to do? You gotta clue us in. What happened in that room?
The thing that she was asking to do, wanting to do, but violent and this.
Would you agree it went too far?
Yes.
You were out of your comfort zone, and it went too far. All the freaky stuff that she wanted you to do. And freaked out, and you left. And you've been holding the secret for 38 years. We both know that you see those pictures every night in your head when you close your eyes. I wouldn't even have to bring the pictures out because you know you still see her.
With all this, I would have had to have just went mind blank, because
We get that. I mean, you said you've been drinking. Maybe you didn't know your own strength. Like we said, she was a little girl. I feel like you want to tell us more.
I don't.
I feel like you want to get all of it off your chest.
When I left,
This doesn't make you a bad person.
I mean, but
Whether it was the alcohol, or you blacked out, or it was just too much for you to handle with all the freaky stuff that she was asking you to do, you still saw her laying like that when you snuck back out the window.
not like this, no.
But she wasn't moving.
No.
She wasn't saying thanks for coming by. So you left knowing that she was not moving. And you left her with her kids in the house to find their mom like that. And you've carried the secret around with you for 38 years. What would you tell them? What would you tell Timmy? Somebody who looked up to you. What would you tell him?
Apologies not enough.
What would you tell your family? How many times have you thought about this? Every day, right? It's been weighing heavy on your heart, right? Have you wanted to tell your wife?
Yeah.
Have you wanted to tell your son? Maybe pick up the phone and call the police department and get this off your chest?
More to the end of time.
Yeah. So if Timmy or Jeff was here, what do you think they deserve?
up knowing.
And knowing everything, right? They deserve to know what happened to their mom. Is there anything else you want to say to us about it, Joe?
What's your wife's phone number, Joe?
863.
I'm gonna call her and let her know what's going on, if that's okay with you. I'm sure you don't want her coming home and you're not in.
If she don't answer, you brought my phone,
Yeah.
the UPS number.
You gonna give us the UPS number?
It's,
Oh, it's in the phone? Okay. Is the phone locked, or are we able to just get into it?
You want a different flavor of Gatorade?
No, I'm fine now.
You good?
Hey, Joe, just so you know, this is Sergeant Perez, he's our sergeant.
How you doing? Been better, I think, right? There's a lot going on today. A lot to process, I would
I'm
imagine.
gonna give you your license back.
I've seen enough days already.
More or less asking you to come out and just have sex.
And did she use the word sex?
Just, I would, no.
What'd she say? What
Just
words
a
did
good-
she use?
Just we'd have a good time. We need
No.
to hook up.
When I'm looking at you, though, I could see you replaying it, right? Because you can see what she said. You remember what she said. So did she say, let's have a good time, let's hook up, or did she use something a little more provocative? Something a little more racy, get your heart going. It's right there on the tip of your tongue, I can see it. Just let it out. What you say?
That we need to hook up. We would have a good time.
She said we need to hook up. Okay.
You'd come over and we'd hook up and we'd have a great time.
Okay. And so you got that idea in your head, right? Did you find her attractive? Come on, Joe. Woman throwing herself at you automatically, she goes from a 5 to a 10, right?
Yeah.
So you did think she was attractive, right? On some level.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. So now she plants a seed in your head, right? Because you're thinking about it. You don't just throw it away, right? It's all in the same day. And you're drinking, is that right? Afterwards. Did you think about it a little more?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, after, was it in Pop?
Mm-hmm.
Pop tells you you had enough, right? Now you didn't soused. Did we make the best decisions when we're drinking? No. Is that when you went over to her house? Okay. So it really wasn't set up. You just went back to see if she would do it with you. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. So you go around, you don't ring the, we already talked about that, right? You didn't knock on the front door, right? So how did you went around to the back to see if she was in her bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay. Was she there?
She come to the door. She come to the window.
She came to the window? And did you open the window?
The window was just the window.
The window was just the window? What does that mean?
I mean, it was already open.
Oh, but, okay, so the window was open. It was up in an up position?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what'd you do?
Don't make them in. So that's what I did.
Really? She told you to climb through that window, Joe? Think real hard about this now. And there's a reason I'm asking you, because a lot of the stuff, you know, I'm sure that you're aware of this, right? It's like when you know something, but you just want to confirm, and that's what I'm looking for, is confirmation. Did she tell you to come through that window?
Yes.
You sure? That very window that you use, she told you to come through that? She said, come through this window right here.
When I walked up there to that window, she seen me coming up to the window. She come on up, told me to come on in.
She told you to come in. Okay. And then what happened then?
Then that's when things escalated from there. It was like you're into the wild and things, and it's like,
How'd you feel about that when she said that you're into wild things?
I don't know. I grew up with a strict family.
Sure. So were you into wild things?
No. I didn't start dating until 17, 18 years old.
That's a little older for most young men, right? So you weren't really into the wild things?
I didn't know.
Right, okay. So then what happens? Because we already talked about it. We know kind of 1 and 4, but I'm trying to get to where your mind was when you came through that window. You're looking for a good time, right? You there?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you looking to have sex, correct?
Well, it was put out there, yes.
Right. You were going to take her up on her invitation, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you go through the window, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now you go in there and she doesn't, she says, are you into wild things, right? Is that what you said she said? Don't let me put words in your mouth. Is that what you said?
She asked if I was into wild sex.
Okay, what'd you say?
I said, I don't know.
Okay.
I guess I'm a little slow with them.
Okay.
Wasn't dating.
You were slow in the sexual arena? Is that what you
Yes.
mean? You're not slow mentally, right? You went to school and all that good stuff? Graduated from high school?
No.
Oh, no? What grade you finished?
10th.
Okay. All right. But you've been a functioning adult your entire life, right? You've had careers and raised families, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So she tells you to, are you into wild things? And you said what to her?
I was like, I guess. I mean,
Okay. Makes sense. You're drunk, right?
yeah.
Your inhibitions are low, right?
Sorry?
Inhibitions, do you know what that is?
No.
Inhibitions is that little voice in your head that tells you not to do something, right? That you're conscious. But it gets a little lower when we're drinking, right? Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
It's true for most people, and I just want to confirm that you feel the same way, right? So you're drinking. And so your inhibitions are low because you're already there, right? And you're married, and there's a whole other set of feelings going through you at that time. But now this girl says, hey, do you like wild sex, right?
Yes.
Okay, then what happens?
The wire came about.
How? She pulled it out of a top hat?
There was already a wire right here. She's like, they asked me again, you're into wild things. And it started off, put the thing around her neck. She was asking, just like,
Say, women in this room. What was she asking?
ain't come up at one time.
Mm-hmm. This is with the wire or without the wire?
With,
Okay. What'd you say? Stick it in my can, or what? I mean,
they asked me if I was in ain't things, and I was like, this is going too far.
okay. All right. And so So you said no to the ankle?
Yes.
Okay. And is now the wire still loose when she's asking you all this?
We already stomach tightened up.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, it's like, I don't know, it's like, and then the pictures, and it's like, that's not me. There was no clawing. She passed out.
Mm-hmm.
What happened down here?
Joe, did you lose control that night?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Evidently, I did.
Not evidently, man to man. Because listen, I'm not better than you. I'm going to tell you that right up front, okay? I've fucked up more ways than I can think about in my lifetime, okay? I made mistakes along the way. Every man does. I don't know a man that doesn't.
Great.
Okay? It happens. Sometimes, you know, you go past the point of no return. Have you ever heard that expression?
Yes.
Okay. That sometimes we're in something so deep and we can't get out and we don't know how. Right? Is that what happened that night? Did you lose control? This little seed, this idea in your head, now it's happening. And then we just kind of lose it. We don't know which way to go now. Is that what happened?
That I did.
What does Joseph Clinton Mills say?
That I don't remember leaving her in that shape.
Okay. But you did tell Detective Hathcock and Detective Hurley that you left her and she was not moving. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it's highly unlikely that...
But all these scars and everything down here.
Well, let's think about that for a second. When you're saying that out loud, does that make sense to you, what you're saying? Like you say, hey, I tied the neck, I tied this wire around her neck, and she ultimately passed out, but the other injuries didn't come from me. Does that make sense to you?
No.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense, does it, Joe? My question is, and I have a slightly, and I'm only asking, okay? Never met you. I don't have anything against you, right? You ever seen me before? No. Were you scared? Did this thing go so far you got scared or maybe a little disgusted by the way she was behaving? You know, she's the one that asked you into this. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you feel like maybe she brought you into a situation and now it's basically gone to hell in a handbasket? Were you scared? Were you upset? Tell me what you were thinking. Were you afraid?
I guess when she passed out, yeah, I freaked out.
Okay. And what happened?
I left.
You left? How'd you leave?
Threw out the window.
Okay. Now, I do believe you freaked out. Okay. Were you trying to get your semen out of her? You had sex with her, right? Did you have sex with her?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you have a condom on?
No.
Okay. Did you ejaculate? You know what that means?
Yes, sir.
Did you spook? Did you?
I guess, yes.
Guess. Who the hell else would know? You were there, right? Do you remember getting off?
No.
No? Okay. When you were engaged in the sexual act, how was she? Like, was she on top of you? Were you on top of her? doggy style. Talk to me, Goose.
She was just laying on the bed.
Okay. Legs up, legs down. How are her legs?
Up.
Up. Did you put them up?
Two-way street, I'd say.
Two-way street. Okay. And then when you're climbing inside of her, is she still moaning? Is she how's she behaving? This woman was kind of loose, right? She allegedly invited you in for all this activity and whatnot. Was she enjoying it?
I think it is. I mean, I'd say yeah.
Yeah? She enjoyed it? And when you freaked out, you said that she wasn't moving anymore, right? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
She had just, yeah.
Okay. And what'd you do? Were you worried about her getting pregnant?
No.
No? Were you worried about your seed being inside of her?
No, sir.
Did you cause that injury to her vagina?
No, sir.
You sure about that?
No, sir.
You don't really know, right? But the logical thing is, who caused that injury? What's the logical thing here? Given everything you've told us about.
The finger would be pointed at Joe.
Joe. Were you angry when this happened?
No, sir. I don't know.
Finish your thought. You said, I don't. I don't what?
Well, I don't know why I would be. Would have been angry.
Did she tell you no?
No.
No time did she tell you no?
No.
Now, what if I told you that of the two windows you went into, the one you went into was the most cluttered? Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Was the most cluttered?
Yeah, there was the most crap in the way of the window that you went into. Which is, for a person like me, it's a little difficult to understand that, right? She says, come on in, big boy, and get ready for the night of your life. Whatever she said to you, right? Is that what you said to me earlier, that she wanted this? And then she says, come through the window, right? Now, if that was you, which window do you choose? Do you choose the window with the most amount of crap in front of it, or do you choose the window with easier access?
You were chose the one with easier access.
Right, but that's not the one you went through, right? What'd you have to climb over to get into that room?
Nothing that I recall.
Ah, come on, Joe. You got a good memory, don't you?
No.
Yeah, you do. What'd you have to climb over? Did you have to step on the bed? Did you have to step on a nightstand? Did you have a trampoline in there? What'd you step on to get into that bedroom that night?
I don't recall stepping over it, nothing.
Does that mean you didn't, or you just don't recall?
I don't remember stepping over nothing. It was easy.
It was an easy in? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
There you go. Well, that's not entirely accurate, but if that's your statement, that's your statement. Okay? And you were scared that night, right? Why the thing with the vagina, Joe? Why? Why the injury to the vagina? What were you, 20-year-old kid, drunk. Let me ask you this, were you angry that day?
No.
Were you more scared?
Yeah.
Yeah? You were afraid? And what were you afraid of?
Being caught with another woman.
There's a window, Joe. Can you see what was obstructing the window?
No, you can't see that?
No, sir.
Why can't you see it? Do you just not know what it is? Or
I see something there.
Okay, well, can I point? Do you mind?
Sure.
Do you see something here?
Yes.
Okay. But you can't make it out, is that correct? But you see something there, right? And when you went out the window, you didn't move anything back in front of the window, right? Because you surely would have told these detectives that, correct? That's actually your headboard, right? So you see when, no? Why are you telling me no? I'm telling you that's a headboard.
Okay.
Okay? So you see when you tell me that she's there, right? And she's giving you her best come hither looks. She's telling you come in, right? The more sensible one is to go through the window with the least amount of obstruction. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess my question, Joe, is how did this happen? How did this really unfold? Was it just an idea and you thought, hey, I'll climb through her window when she comes in? Well, you know, she's already given me the invitation and it'll pan out from there. Was that your idea?
The invitation was there. Then bad choices of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol was talking.
Mm-hmm.
When I did go back, decided to take up on the offer.
Okay.
When I got around there, she noticed when I walked up to the window.
How long did you have to wait
For
for her to come into the window?
not very long.
Were you actually already inside waiting for her?
No.
Joe, listen to me. Remember earlier I told you there are things that we know, and I'm just looking for confirmation, brother. I have been absolutely straight up with you this entire time. You're of an age, I think you deserve some respect, and so do I. Okay? We know, okay, that didn't exactly go down the way you're saying it did. We know that, okay? Put my cards on the table here. I'm thinking. You have this idea, you mix it with alcohol. She said, hey, come by for a good time. Okay, you know where she lives? You climb through the window and you wait, and then you wait for her, hey, I'm here. Is that what happened?
She knew I was there.
She knew you were there.
Yeah.
You were already inside the house when she knew you were there?
No.
So you're maintaining that she let you through that window?
Yes.
Okay. How did this wire really get introduced into this equation? She didn't put that wire around her own neck. Was that something you wanted to try?
No.
Listen, this girl is asking you to put it in her bank. Is it, you sure it's something you didn't want to try?
No, because she was the one wanting to do the wild things.
She wanted to do the wild things.
Wild sex.
I'm pretty sure she didn't want you to crank that wire down until she died. Is that a reasonable thought process in your mind, Joseph?
Yeah.
So how did it happen? That's our question. We know, listen, we kind of have a rough outline based on what you're telling us, okay? We didn't get to you by accident, right? You recognize that, right? You knew what this was about earlier, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You've known the whole time, right? Okay? My question is, not a question, but I'm asking, can you please fill in the gaps? Tell me what you were thinking when this happened. That's important here, Joseph. Because let me tell you what you're doing, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, and Detective Hurley, correct me if I'm wrong. You're villainizing this woman that got choked to death 38 years ago with her 2 minor sons in the other room. You recognize that, right? And you're telling me, hey, listen, I was drunk, but she was the one that wanted this, and this is why I did that, and blah, 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 blah. How does that sit with you when you hear me say that out loud? That basically you're pointing the finger at this woman who's dead. How does that make you feel? Are you a Christian man?
Yes, sir.
You believe in the Lord?
Yes, sir.
You believe in judgment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you know that
Vengeance is his.
I'm sorry?
Vengeance is his.
Correct. Vengeance is his. All right? But is telling the truth in your faith important?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how does that make you feel when you basically put all the blame on this woman?
I'm not putting all the blame.
Okay. All right. Now again, maybe I'm misunderstanding, and I want you to stop me. I don't want to put any words in your mouth. If you hear me say something that's not accurate, you stop me and say, hey man, that's not what I said. Okay? Whose fault is this?
It'd be mine.
Okay. And are you saying that that invitation led to her death? The invitation of sex that earlier that day, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Did it lead to her death?
It did.
Okay. And is it at your hands, that death?
I was the one there, yes.
We know you were the one there. Are you the one that killed her?
Knowingly, no.
Normally, no.
Knowingly.
Knowingly, no.
This
Are you
things
saying?
went too far, she passed out, scared, drunk.
Okay. How do you feel about this? Nobody's ever, at least I can hear, you haven't really shed a tear, you look kind of stone-faced. I don't know if you're just a stoic individual or maybe you just don't give a crap. But if you had to get it out on record, how do you feel about this?
Shameful.
Shameful. What do you think should happen in this investigation?
Vengeance is the Lord.
Vengeance is the Lord's, that is correct.
And in my heart, I feel that's what's going on.
That's going on?
Because the things that's going on in my life now, suffering, sickness, cancer.
What would you tell your sons?
Basically what you said. Things that went too far.
But I don't want you to say what I said. I want you, Joseph Clinton Mills, to say something to her sons. What would you say?
Things went too far.
And all this time you never thought to pick up a phone or, detectives did contact you, right?
Yes.
And what did you say to them back in 1981? You should remember because Detective Hackcock just read it to you the other day. What did you tell him? Never been in that house, right?
Mm-hmm.
I only talked to her at the car for a few minutes. Is that correct? Did you ever see her, you know, when they do the cold cases and the ledger, they do it like on a yearly basis. Did you ever see any of those? No? You don't read the ledger? Joseph, don't waste a good lie on me, buddy.
I don't get the paper.
At all?
No.
Okay. How'd you deal with this for 38 years? Just forget about it, or?
No, sir.
No? How did you deal with it?
I don't. That's why I say, where the Lord says vengeance is His. I'm paying for it. I'm doing the suffering.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
What about our sons? You think they're doing any suffering?
Yes, sir.
Well, they do. Why do they deserve this? We know why you deserve it, right? I mean, you've acknowledged that, but why then? At your hands, you know? That's why I asked you, what would you say to them? You're a man of faith, right? Is it Christianity that you follow? What would you say to them?
I don't know. Apology is not enough.
All right.
I got a couple things of clarification. Number one, when we talked on the 4th, you had told us that you dropped a group of kids off at 303 Brunel, the location where this happened, and then you had the rest of them you took over to Lake Beulah, the 501 Hartsel is what it's called.
Yes.
But now you're saying that you talked to her for an hour after stopping at Brunel, and the way I understood it, you went to Brunel first and then to Hartsville second. Because that would be the route from Winston, correct?
Yes.
So were there kids, players in your truck while you're sitting there talking to her for an hour?
Just the boys. There's 3.
So there was 3 kids that had to go to Hartsville that sat
No.
there while you guys flirted?
The other coach took the other boys.
So you only had, that particular day, you only had the group for 303 Brunel?
Yes.
Okay. The second thing is, and we didn't touch on this whenever we talked earlier, but when you said you approached that window, it was open. When you left, you shut it. Why? Do you remember shutting it?
No, sir.
Because your fingerprints are on the outside ledge shutting the window. You don't remember shutting it?
No, sir.
Do you have any ideas why you might have shut it?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
What we're going to do, I'm going to take you downstairs. We're going to do some fingerprints and some buccal swabs. So basically, we have a search warrant. Well, as soon as we get that done, I'll bring it up there and she'll give you a copy of the search warrant for that. The reason why we're doing this, we have your fingerprints. However, back in the 80s, they didn't do palm prints, so we want to make sure we get good palm prints because there's tons of palm prints in there to include in the closet that they want to compare. Okay, so that's why we're doing the fingerprints. The buccal swabs are just a top layer of the cake. We already got the tape from your colostomy bag that connects you to the semen, but now we're going to get the actual buccal swabs and send them off, and so we can say, yes, we took these from Joseph, directly from Joseph, and compared it to the semen. Okay? Any questions about that? Okay. You need to go to the restroom before we go down there?
I think I'm good.
Joseph Mills is charged with sexual battery, first-degree murder, burglary with assault, and perjury. He initially pleads not guilty, but changes his plea to guilty to avoid the death penalty. He tells the judge, "I am a good person. I'm not that person that they're painting me out to be. just before being sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.